started TFG as a response for something that we think is a real need in the market, which is being able to offer any type of services with talent at a lower cost, really. We work in many languages, about 40 languages, and we actually work in South Africa and in other countries as well. But we believe that many of our clients, particularly in the US and in the UK and in Australia, New Zealand, and Singapore, they need better costed solutions to do many of their roles that they need to fill in. And we believe in geo arbitration. There's places like South Africa and many others where you can find an incredible talent, and you are able to cost it at a much lower cost. So that's what we do. So we are a talent. That's what we call Talent Force Global. We are a company that provides talent to any companies anywhere in the world. We only work with the planet Earth right now, but as soon as we go to Mars, we'll go there. So we do all the languages, and we do French from Mauritius, we do English, obviously from South Africa, Durban, Cape Town. We do German from Namibia. We do Asian languages from Bangkok and Manila, and so on and so forth. And that's what we do. And then we offer not only executive hire and recruitment services, but also world-class BPO, world-class offshoring, and world-class outsourcing services for those companies. The retention is fantastic. The attendance is fantastic. I think the level of effort that we're finding with our teams in South Africa are way superior to those that we're finding in other places. So there's a big advantage to doing business, particularly our business in South Africa, I believe. Find the ethos towards work in South Africa to be superior of that we're finding perhaps in Europe or in America. I think is a fact, and in Australia and New Zealand as well. And I'm talking South Africa because that's what we do, the English language, right? So the alternatives for that are the US, UK, and Australia, New Zealand. The roles that we are using DNA for are sales roles, mostly sales representatives, business advisors. Now they've kind of like reshaped the name, or the nomenclature. Now they call it business advisors, which is more than just a sales role, but it has a very high commercial element to it. And that particular client is a 300 million plus company in the UK that works in different markets. They had all their sales roles really in the UK and in the US, tackling UK, US, Australia, New Zealand. They put themselves up to the challenge of trying to outsource that to a place that could do it at least as well, if not better, than what they were doing in the UK and in the US. And, we won the contract. We were the David against Goliath, in the RFP and in the process. We had very few people when we went to, the RFP process and everything, and we beat everybody else. We beat companies that have 50,000 employees, right? And they were impressed about our passion, about what we do and how we do things. And I think really they thought that we were the guys that we're going to take their interests most, their best interests at heart in the best way, right? And we won. And ever since it's gone up, and they're very happy, and we are doing a great job for them. So it's a great partnership. So what they do is they have a list of partners and clients, and they help them to acquire new customers. So they're a customer acquisition company, and our reps are part of that equation, and that is strategy. And they make sure that they help all their partners to acquire and win new clients around the globe. They do that with all different methodologies. They use digital marketing. They use a team of multi-skill sales reps and business advisors that help those potential clients to upsell, cross-sell, etc. Right? So they do different methodologies, and I think we are integrating those very well within our company, and results are being fantastic. They come in to visit us and work with the teams every now and then, and they recently did it, and now they're coming back again next week, and they say we love it, they love it there, and everything seems to be good so far. Awesome. And as a result, we're growing the teams. So we are, if you want to call it like a global business, our headquarters are in Andorra. Interestingly enough, Andorra, most people don't know what that is, and that exists. It's a very micro state nestled between Spain and France, and it's an incredible place to do business. It's got loads of advantages and almost none of the disadvantages of doing businesses in all these other big countries now that they are so thirsty, to tax you even when you breathe, right? So our headquarters are set up in there, but then we work and we have offices, physical offices in many other places like Bangkok, like Manila, like Cape Town, like Mauritius, in Port Louis, like definitely Durban, where in Durban, I think we have over 120 people. So because we work in many places, we decided not to have a local entity in all these places. And that means that we need an employer of record to do everything that is required for us to be 100% compliant. So the figure of the employer of record is what we were looking for, and then we came across DNA. I think they were very effective, very fun to do business with, but also I felt that they were there when we needed them. They listened to us and they brought solutions to the table. So I think we just got on immediately and very well. And ever since then, we've been working with them, and everything is going very well. So I think they take problems out of our plate rather than bringing them, because we're very busy, right, in our business. So we need all things to be done properly, and DNA is playing that role very well. The least we talk to DNA, the better things are going, clearly, right? So that's what we expect, that things go smooth. Obviously, we have our teams that relate to DNA almost on a daily basis, and there's quite a lot of work to do, and there's a constant communication, right? No, I think they're very efficient. I think they allow us to do our work as we have to. I think they were also very conscious to the fact that we were a small business, and they also, met us halfway to be able to do this. I remember that we talked things about commercials and things like that. At that time, when I brought this to the table, I don't think they believed that we were going to grow, as we said. So we said, well, look, if you get, to 20 people by Christmas, I said, we'll cross that. And now we are on 60 something, going to 70 people in there. So so they really cared from the beginning, and we had that feeling that they were good people, right? So we've met the senior team many times, and I think we feel very comfortable. And I think that is super important in a relationship. There's other relationships, they don't work hard. They don't work well. There's somebody that thinks is the client and has to dictate the other part what they need to do, and those are not proper relationships. I think we are working as partners. I think they have understood what we need, and they really work hard to try to bring it to the table. And we also appreciate their job, and we try to do our bit as well with mutual respect and almost, I would say, admiration. So, look, if DNA wasn't there, we would have probably a big problem on that end, in terms of doing the payroll and the employer of record and all the functions that entail. And I don't think it would be an easy replacement to replace DNA. I don't think that would be an easy thing. Yeah, I would say that South Africa has a lot to offer. So I think a lot of people has barriers in terms of, oh yeah, but do they speak this and that? I mean, that, you don't know what you don't know, right? But South Africa can offer incredible things. I think they can compete with other countries like the US and the UK, given the chance. I think they can beat them in many ways. Okay, so it's a very interesting place to explore. especially for particular type of businesses. In terms of the EOR, the employer of record, I think is a no-brainer. For me, it's a hands down foregone conclusion. There's no point for me. To me, there's no point to set up your legal entity in South Africa if you have somebody like DNA that can do all that work for you. The gains in terms of time, efficiency, and saving problems and issues are massive. So I think for companies wanting to go to South Africa, first of all, yes, I think they should explore it. I think people have a different concept of what South Africa is until they go on there and they start operating there. So and we've been very, very positively surprised on what we can achieve in South Africa. In fact, South Africa is over 80% of our business, and we expect to stay there for a very long time. Okay. And then when it comes down to how to do business in a 100% compliant way, I think using a employer of record is the best way to go about it. At least it's been for us for many reasons. And definitely, I don't know if all employers of record are as good as DNA because we haven't tried them, right? But probably we got lucky coming across DNA. But look, if anybody's thinking about that stuff, just give them a call. Give a call to Adeline or Anton or Natalie or anybody in the team, and I'm sure that they will do an amazing job for them. Let's put it this way. We do have many issues as we grow, because we're growing now. We're going to grow to the 200s and all that stuff in South Africa. And, there's growing pains coming in from many directions. But I don't think any of those are coming from the employer of record or from DNA. I think they're all different issues. Okay, so DNA is helping us to solve those issues. No, look, if somebody's thinking about doing business in South Africa and they want to do it, if you want to call it the traditional way and set up the legal entity as per, traditionally, rather than using an employer of record, I think they're going to spend a lot of time. They're going to cry a lot. They're going to have a lot of lack of efficiencies, spending time, and they might even be put off to do business there because it takes a lot. So the employer of record and for us DNA has been a breach for us not even having to think about it. Quite frankly, I didn't put that much time on that at all. It's not my forte. I don't like it. So DNA does it for us. I just do business development and take care of all the rest. And that's what I want to do. If I had to open a legal entity there as per traditional model ourselves and not using an employer of record, probably or possibly we wouldn't have done it. It's too much work. It's not worth it. So I would say use an employer of record and use somebody like DNA, because now there is a lot of platforms out there that claim to do that, but those are software platforms that don't have the human component, the human element of solving the issues in a different way, where a software cannot respond. Okay, when I have a problem, I call Natalie, I call Anton, I call, hey, look, I've got this problem. They call me back, they solve it. A platform cannot do that. And that's why we don't use a platform. There are platforms like that function everywhere, but I don't think they give you what DNA gives us, which is, at the end of the day, value in terms of problem solving, which is what I want, right? And they're fast and efficient. I don't think, we considered platforms, but they just don't talk back to you. There's a lot of artificial intelligence put in there, and then they don't answer what you're asking, and they don't want to meet with you, and they don't understand what you're saying. So having a human element to solve those problems is something that, at least for the foreseeable future, I think is going to be absolutely critical. And DNA has that. So I wouldn't literally know to set up the normal traditional legal entities. Just a waste of time and a waste of efforts and resources.